Okay, can you hear me now? All right, cool. Yeah. Um, no, you missed all the good jokes. Missed it all. Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. We'll be talking about how you might, if you want to. Well, it'll be. I guess it's more about me, but today we're talking about how to build your own show. So, tell us where you're tuning in from. Where are you watching from? If you're not subscribed to this channel, you definitely want to subscribe. That way you can interact in the channel. Plus, not only do we go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. to bring you valuable gold nuggets. Put a G in the chat if you want some gold nuggets. And by the way, if you're watching this on replay, there's no chat, there's no interactions, but definitely grab your paper, your favorite pencil, your pen, take some notes because we're dropping some gold today. Who's ready for some gold? Cool, yeah, so clearly there, tech malfunction, that is a message to you all that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just do the thing. Do the thing. The most important thing that you can have in growing your business is what? Starts with an FB. No, it's not Facebook. Although, yes, you can grow a business on Facebook if that's what you wanted to do, or leverage Facebook as part of business growth. People don't realize that. Like, there are all these social media platforms, and you can grow a business on these social media platforms. It doesn't just have to be LinkedIn, YouTube, it can be Facebook. People are growing businesses on Instagram. It's a whole underground of business growth on social media. TikTok, freaking half of the US over there on TikTok hanging out. TT in the chat, if I should start a TikTok channel, who wants to see some hilarious Agile videos? I'm thinking about putting some of those together. Are you on TikTok? Throw a 1 in the chat if you are on TikTok. Throw a 2 in the chat if you are not yet on TikTok, but you're thinking about joining. It is a very, very lucrative platform if you know how to take advantage of it. Cool. So Michael, you're seeing me, or you're hearing me, but you're not seeing me. Okay. Sounds like it might be an issue on your end now, because some people are hearing me now. So cool. All right. Oh, you're not seeing me. Maybe refresh your screen. Cool. Awesome. So, gonna be dropping some gold today. Now, next week, I'm going live on Wednesday to talk about why having your own consultancy is crucial to survival, to your career survival as an agile coach, right? Especially if you never want to be laid off ever again, grow a consultancy, right? Stack clients. We may do a future episode on stacking clients and the value of doing that. It's very valuable if you do it right. There's a lot of people doing it the wrong way, and that's where I would say, as far as it goes, building your own agile consultancy or even growing your career, if you're taking a process and you're not changing it over time to figure out what works and what doesn't, then you are probably going to end up in one of those scenarios where you're like, it's really not working, and you're going to give up right before it starts working. It's kind of like we talked today about we're going to drop some gold. I feel like a 49er. But you're digging. You ever seen that cartoon where he's digging and he's like, there's just nothing here, and he gives up, and like literally one more knock in the ground and he would have found the gold, right? So don't give up too soon, right? But also, you can't expect to do the same thing over and over expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. That's right. Okay, cool. So it looks like we got some people that want us on TikTok. Put a TT in the chat if you want to see me on your TikTok feed. I see a lot of people here not on TikTok. What's the holdup? Why are you not on TikTok yet? Get on there. All right. So, but a live show, like how do I get 10 to 20 people regularly attending this show week in and week out? Well, why do you think? Put in the chat. Why do you think I'm able to get regularly 10 to 20 people. They don't all watch live, right? Everyone's got their, things going on, but we do the replays, and we've got some content we've prepared that I plan to pump out on this YouTube channel as well. So again, if you want to tune into next week's episode or the future episodes on why building your own Agile consultancy is crucial to your career survival, make sure you're subscribed. And I shouldn't have to say this. It's weird saying it, but everyone says it, so I guess it's kind of cool to say, hit the bell for notifications. That way you know the moment we go live and the moment we post new content. That is going to be valuable for you. Now, before we get into the details today, I want to celebrate something. I want to celebrate one of my private coaching clients who just landed a brand new client, paid in full, no objections. Why? All we had to do was tweak one thing on his sales process, and he landed the client. In fact, the client was excited to work with them. Now, that's the thing, is like a lot of people are going through a sales process that feels salesy. If you're doing a sales process and it feels salesy, one, stop doing that, because if it feels salesy to you, it's definitely feeling salesy to the client, and no one wants to buy. No one wants to be sold. Everyone loves to buy, but we hate being sold, right? We want it to be our own decision. We want it to be as if it were our own idea. So if your sales process doesn't help the prospect persuade themselves that this is valuable and that they need to work with you, then throw that out. Like I tell people, throw out your script if it's not serving you. So let's throw your favorite celebration emoji in the chat for this client. I have private clients, and then I have other clients who are in part of like a group mastermind where we go hard on this stuff every single week, multiple times a week. And sometimes all you need to do is tweak one thing. But if you don't have that feedback loop, like I told you earlier, you are going to struggle. Cool. So, live show. Why the heck did I decide to do a live show? Put in the chat why you think I decided to do a live show. Yes, providing value is part of that, Michael. Thank you. Glad you enjoy it. Glad you think it's awesome. Yeah, consistency. Maybe there's a part of that. I am becoming more disciplined as an Agile thought leader. I'm becoming more disciplined by showing up week in and week out. Now, there was one week where I couldn't quite make it happen, and another week where I had to reschedule it for Monday, but people still showed up. Why? Yes, value, absolutely part of that equation. And if you're going to launch your own live show, value absolutely has to be part of the equation. You have to come with a giving mindset. I was talking with a friend this morning who just read the book Go Giver. Put a G in the chat if you ever read the book Go Giver. Put 2 G's in the chat, in fact, if you ever read the book Go Giver. It's this book where this guy is on a mission to figure out, like, how does he grow his business? And he talks to this really old guy who's very smart, very wise, and he says, I just give a lot of value. I mean, that's the Cliff's Notes version of the book. But like this guy is trying to figure out all the secrets. He's like, this doesn't make any sense. All you do is like give. Well, when you give, there is this concept of a reciprocal. If you give to others, they're going to feel compelled to give back, right? And there are multiple currencies of how you might give, and there's multiple currencies of how they might give back to you. Right? But ultimately, what is it about? It's about making the world a better place. And so there's a couple mindsets that we want to have and embrace when we decide to give value. The first and foremost of those is being give unconditionally. Give without expecting anything in return. Why though? Because if you're truly passionate about having an impact on this planet, like I do, my vision isn't just to grow you guys' career, it's to also grow several startups that will change people's lives. I was talking to my team this week. you know, memories. What are some of your most fond memories in your life? Go ahead and throw in the chat. What are some of your most fond memories in life? And how well do you remember those memories? Are they like really vivid memories? Or are they kind of like, yeah, I remember that being funny, but it doesn't make you laugh again, right? So one of the startup ideas I have is to help people remember the best moments of their life better and capture those moments. So like my impact here is far beyond just helping you all grow your business, and your impact in helping others has to be far beyond just the idea of helping businesses grow. It's about leaving a true generational impact. Yeah, building generational wealth is nice too. You know, growing a multi-million-dollar business is nice, but what for if you're not leaving an impact, right? Because money comes and money goes, right? There's nothing wrong with money, and that's another broken mindset too. It's not wrong to think of money as useful. Like money has a utility, but when money comes in, I flow it right back out. I do not try to hold on to money, right? I'm constantly reinvesting in my business. Everything that comes in goes right back out because there's more valuable use for it. So if you think of money that way, that is like the foundation of the money mindset. And it's the same with value and giving value, right? Showing up. I forget who said it. Was it Mark Twain? No, somebody said 90% of success is showing up. So I committed to you all to show up weekly, to give value, knowing that success is just going to be a natural, you know, byproduct. That was the word I was looking for. Success is a natural byproduct. And so, again, if you decide to do a live show, or even if it's a podcast, or even if it's just recording your videos and posting them on LinkedIn, like that's value that you have to give to the world, and do it in a positive way. I see so many people and they're posting like negative things, and it's like, pity me, pity me, pity me. No, show up and give value. Pity me is about me. That's why you don't ever see me post pity. I'm not looking for pity from others. I'm looking to feed into other people in a positive way. Stop looking at me, look at you. Like I'm a mirror for you, reflecting what you want to become. I could care less about me. It's the most selfless thing you can do in your career and in your business, is to be a mirror for others, right? But also to show them perspectives that they don't necessarily see. So as you're thinking about what value you could give, whether it is on a live show or a pre-recorded video or a podcast, you have to think about those things. How can I be a mirror for others? How can I reflect what they may or may not be seeing, right? Sometimes a mirror isn't straight on, sometimes it's tilted, sometimes it's angled. New insights emerge in those cases. I want to run an experiment on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this show has done nothing for me, and 10 is this show has completely changed my life. Has this show had an impact on you, either in your career or your business? Whether it's a consultancy or not, right? Everyone's got a side hustle. It's hard to live this life with just a main, right? Main gig. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how impactful has this show been to you? Yeah. And as you're thinking about what value you could give, because it can be, and it doesn't have to be on a live show, it doesn't have to be even on pre-recorded video or podcast, or even in text. But if you're not putting stuff out, 11, I love that, Michael, thank you. If you're not thinking about how you can give value to others and making it about them and not you, because it's the W WIIFM is the most famous radio station ever. Who listens to WIIFM? What's in it for me? That's what everyone in your audience wants to know. So if you come on and you're talking about you and this about you and that about you and this other thing about you, people are going to tune out. They want to listen to WIIFM. So why live video? Why live video? One, it eliminates this perfectionism thing. Like if you're recording a video and it's not live, you can do multiple takes. And then how much time are you wasting doing multiple takes? By the way, this is completely unscripted. All of you have the potential to do unscripted content like this. To just show up, embrace imperfection. We call it imperfect action, because imperfect action will trump perfection and inaction all day long. So get over it. Get over the perfectionist thing. That's holding you back. Thank you. 10. We got a 10 in the chat. What else? Scale of 1 to 10. Has this show had an impact on your life or your career or your business? I know we've only got, I think what are we up to? 10? All right. So I want to talk about this. Why a live show, other than perfectionism, is that face-to-face, real time is right there on the freaking Agile Manifesto. Face-to-face communication. It's the most valuable kind. It builds trust like wildfire. If you want to win clients, you have to win their trust. Trust is really hard to gain over text. People are busy. You put a wall of text in front of their face, they ain't having it. That was my example of scrolling. There's just scrolling past. Thanks for the 10. They're just scrolling past that wall of text. They want nothing to do with it. You want to guarantee that you get ghosted in your messages when you're reaching out to potential clients? Throw a wall of text at them. Guarantee you they will ghost you. Now, they might not ghost you if you have rapport already built up, but that means you already have trust. They're willing to possibly, maybe not, but possibly read that wall of text. But if you don't have rapport, if you don't have trust, wall of text, goodbye. Put a T in the chat if you are tracking with me and all this is making sense. Also, if you have any questions, I've probably got time for 1 or 2 questions. I know we do have a question already. I thought this would be a fun episode. Let's like this video and throw your favorite emoji in the chat to celebrate that we've made it to episode 11. We're turning it up to 11, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That's how we do. And every week I'm iterating. I'm changing and tweaking something new. You've seen my displays change. You've seen I had the laser going, right? And then we get feedback. You cannot grow a business or a live show without a feedback loop, and especially a fast one. If you don't have a fast feedback loop, a very tight feedback loop in your business, you're gonna stall, you're gonna stagnate, you're gonna get stuck and stay stuck and not grow. So if you want to get unstuck, put an unstuck in the chat. We can have a conversation later this week to help you get unstuck growing your consultancy. All right, but text is the least influential way of communicating, especially given that writing is perceived differently than a conversation, right? What we're having here is a conversation. You're just listening, but you get to see my face, and if you don't know me, you get to put a face with the name. You get to read my facial expressions. Like 50% of TED speakers, the top 50%, or is it the top 10%? Anyway, a very high amount of TED speakers are the top watched TED Talks on TED or on YouTube or wherever you're watching them. Why? Because they're using gestures, facial expressions in ways that's very engaging with the audience, right? So the best TED speakers use, I think, 50% more gestures. Yes, sir. Gestures. So use gestures. There's a lot to running a show, but it doesn't have to feel like a lot, right? It's that process of iterating as time goes on. Put a fire emoji in the chat if this is all making sense. We need a gold nugget emoji. Every time I drop a gold nugget. That'd be cool. All right. I know we've got a question. What kind of tech to use? What kind of tech? Well, it doesn't have to be any more complicated than streaming to YouTube from Zoom, right? I use more complicated software, but that was an iterative process. If I tell you like everything, like my whole setup now, you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're not going to do it. So just iterate, change one factor at a time. I was talking to a friend this morning, in fact. The best scientists, they go for a while on something. They don't just give up. They go for a while, and then they change one factor. Now, going for a while means different things in different scenarios. What you really want to do is you want to put yourself in a position where going for a while means you've tested your item or your change with 30 people, possibly in a matter of a day. If you're not testing 30 things a day, you're going incredibly slow with the growth of your business, or the growth of your consultancy, or the growth of your side hustle, or the growth of your career, whatever it is. If you're not testing 30 times a day, you're going real slow. Okay, that's a minimum, right? And then only change one factor at a time. Otherwise, how do you know if something worked or not? All right, cool. So, hopefully that covers the technology side of things. Don't overcomplicate it. That's the most important thing that you can do. We've got a couple people here in Toastmasters, actually. Yeah. Toastmasters can be really good, but also Toastmasters, what I do like about Toastmasters is if you put yourself out there and do the off-the-cuff speaking, that is incredibly useful, because what I'm doing here is completely unscripted. It's off the cuff. In fact, I don't even have an outline for this. Sometimes I'll have an outline. It's good to have an outline, but more importantly is the framework behind it. So if you don't have a framework, type framework in the chat, or hit me with a framework in LinkedIn, and we can connect and walk through a simple framework for you to run your show, if that is something that you are serious about doing. Now, someone asked me about what mechanisms I use to get, these 10 to 20 people to show up. It's real simple. There's a whole book called Lean UX, or maybe you've read the book Lean Startup. It's simply that. Don't waste time building all this content that no one's going to bother with. Whether it's an article, like I tell my clients, stop writing articles. No one reads those. Maybe one person. What you do is you take an approach that validates if that article is even worth writing in the first place. And again, don't write articles. There's way better ways to do it. But it's the same for video and for live shows. Like, don't create the content if people haven't already, and if those numbers of people haven't already said that will be something valuable to them, right? Don't do it. It is a complete and utter waste of time. Cool. Hope that answers your question. I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat. Cool. If you happen to have any other questions, go ahead, hit me up on LinkedIn with your question, and I'll do my best to answer it. Other than that, that is it for today's show. So thanks for coming. Episode number 11 in the books. See you next week.